Today, I'm going to share for the buyers things that I call budget busters. Stuff you're paying for, don't really need or want, and it's part of the cost of homeownership. Don't buy homes that require them. In no specific order, here they are. Number one, monthly HOA assessments. These are your dues. You may have more than one HOA. An HOA, again, Homeowners Association. Regular assessments cover a gate, a pool, community center. Number two is the special assessments. The special assessments might be redoing said pool or grounds. If you live in a condo that's a high-rise or mid-rise, it might be structural repair. About a year or so ago in Miami, a condo community called Surfside that collapsed had a major structural failure. Their board did not plan for and or keep up with required maintenance to make sure that the building was safe. People died. It was bad. Anybody buying in an HOA, really look at the disclosures when you get them. 90 to 99% of you just go, yeah. I can park my boat in the backyard, a play set for my kids, a car in the driveway overnight. That's not HOA board spending under budget, over budget. Do they have reserves to pay for things when they're unexpected? I've seen similar in Phoenix. If they do not keep up, they have to assess to catch up and be where they're supposed to be. A 5 or 6 figure assessment, that's cause for worry. Look at it on the front end, make sure that you're okay with what you're seeing. And if you're not sure, ask for help. Number 3, property taxes. Taxes in Arizona are pretty cheap relative to the rest of the country. However, if you own a home that was newly constructed, you are likely to have higher property taxes. The assessments are based on the value at the time the home is completed and sold for the first time. So a home built in 70-something, probably going to cost a lot less than one built in 2024. Then we have what we call special tax districts. These are typically county obligations, and they are for things like agricultural improvement, community park maintenance, drainage and flood protection, electrical, fire, flood control, stadium, irrigation, water conservation, irrigation water delivery, sanitary districts, special health districts, multi-county water conservation districts. Then you have what we call the CFDs. These are your community facilities districts. They are generally created for the purpose of improving public infrastructure where there is none. Places like way far out in the fringes of town, wherever there's new development. They may have CFDs put in place to help fund the infrastructure to support these homes. Number 4, land leases. In my opinion, as someone who sells property for a living, when you lease anything, you don't have ownership. With a land lease, sometimes referred to as a ground lease, you literally own the house, the vertical parts and all the stuff in it, but do not own the stuff underneath. That's not good. There's, usually a 99-year ground lease. At the end of that time, the landowner from whom you're leasing the ground underneath your home is not obligated to sell you that land, to renew your lease, or anything else. So whoever's holding the bag at the end of the lease period, you may have a house and no place to put it. And unlike a mobile home, you can't roll it away onto the next spot. Usually the land lease fee is a percentage of the sales price, i.e. like a 0.5% or a 0.5% if you buy in a community that already has an HOA and now you have your land lease and you may have a mortgage. The cost becomes prohibitive unless you bought it when the market crashed. Really, because that was when it was affordable. You've been warned. Be really wary about those. Number 5, leased solar panels, or really any kind of leased home improvement, i.e. water softeners. I'm gonna focus on solar panels here. On paper, they sound like a great idea. You're doing good things for the environment, and in theory, you're gonna save money. However, the devil's in the details. These leases can run anywhere from like 10-ish to 20-ish years. They may be graduated, meaning the payments start small and they get big. They may be fixed payments, but you also have stipulations usually looped into them, i.e. when they get a tax rebate from the government, you need to hurry up and get it to them so they can collect on the money, because remember, you don't own the solar panels, they do, and they're the ones entitled to it. Same thing with the vegetation around your house. You must keep it all trimmed away because it can reduce the output, therefore reducing the total amount of the investment that they have in whatever it is that they're doing with you. They don't add value. You don't own them, someone else does. You're not gonna get the benefit, and when it's all said and done, They take the panels off and you got a roof with a bunch of holes in it that you now need to repair. While it sounds great to have someone buy out the solar panel lease, you still are gonna end up with a bunch of holes when you're finished. There's not as much benefit to it as you think. Number 6, maintenance. No one likes maintenance. That's the reason the majority of people buy new homes. They don't want to deal with the maintenance. While I get that and it makes sense, you're gonna do maintenance one way or the other, or your house is gonna fall apart. You choose. The cost of light bulbs. Your house has to be clean. All these things need maintaining. For a pool, you're paying for water, chemicals, and or the labor to do it if it's not you. And then there's the utility costs of this. If you've got to run a filter, and then now you may be paying to heat the pool, so it might be gas costs. You're paying for it. Landscaping adds a lot of value to a home, but it also includes a lot of maintenance, unless you've got a xeriscape or you live in a condo, in which case you're paying the HOA to do the maintenance for you. Same thing goes for your sports/tennis/pickleball courts. They're also outside taking the elements 365 days a year, so you have to budget for this stuff. Number 7, utilities. Looking squarely at the out-of-state buyers, and mind you, I was an out-of-state buyer when I moved here. Utility costs are different all over the country for a number of different reasons. However, it's your job to figure out what they are and whether or not they fit your budget. If you're leaving, let's say, a condo or townhome, like I did in California, and coming to Arizona to have a home that's double the size of what you left, I was a little bit shocked when my $80 water bill went to about $400 or $450 just for the water in the middle of summer. It was August. It was hot. But that's the cost of maintaining landscaping in Arizona if you live on a bigger property. It may be less if your house is efficient. Awesome, great, but know what it costs. Now you have a framework to understand what your costs are separate of your mortgage, interest, taxes. Try and stretch your budget a little bit further. You got this. If you have questions, you think I missed something, reach out. Happy to hear from you. Happy house hunting. Go get you a great home.